No one warns you that advocating for your neurodivergent kid means doing 5 jobs in one doctor's appointment. I want to tell you a fictional story, not because it didn't happen, but because the story happens to so many families over and over again. The details are different, the people may be changed, but the emotional work, that part is the same and very, very real. In this story, a parent walks into a doctor's office alone. Not because their child doesn't matter, but because the child is exhausted, burned out, and spent, and they just aren't able to attend. The parent starts explaining not just symptoms, but a whole nervous system. They talk about school burnout, sensory overload, food issues, panic responses that look like behavior, and medical symptoms that don't fit neatly into just one box. They're trying to explain why getting a diagnosis matters for something like POTS or autonomic disorders, even when the first line treatment might look similar for that of anxiety or malnutrition. And we can still do the treatment without, as he implies, the need for a diagnosis. So the doctor listens, and he's kind and he's trying, but you can almost see his brain sorting everything into separate little folders. Medical over here. Mental health stuff over here. Autism down here. School avoidance issues over here. And the parent is sitting there thinking, no, it's all the same nervous system. It's all part of the same puzzle. And in this story, the doctor is kind. He listens and he genuinely tries to understand. This isn't about bad doctors. It's about a system where family doctors are expected to manage complex neurodevelopmental and autonomic issues without enough time, training, or local specialists to refer to. The doctor may even express his own frustration with the system and getting specialists to get back to him and waiting lists. But here's the lowdown. The treatment is the same, even if we don't have a diagnosis. That isn't the whole story, and it shouldn't stop there. Because a diagnosis does 3 really practical things, in my humble opinion. Number 1, it helps clarify what we're dealing with and what to monitor medically. Number 2, it helps unlock accommodations, especially at school, but also everywhere else in life. And 3, it changes how people interpret what they're seeing. And what I mean by that is, without a diagnosis, a kid is seen as avoiding, anxious, or defiant. With a diagnosis, that same behavior is seen as a nervous system that is medically limited. Which kid do you think is going to get benefit of the doubt more often? Same strategies, totally different level of understanding and support. And look, this just isn't emotional. There are objective, measurable, physiological changes in conditions like dysautonomia and POTS. How many times do we keep being fobbed off and told it's just anxiety related to autism or neurodivergence? I'm really sick of hearing that. And through it all, what no one sees is the translation work. What parents have to do through turning lived experience into medical language for doctors to understand, turning exhaustion into something that sounds objective, and turning a child's shutdowns or burnouts into something that won't be labeled as defiance or just not willing or being spoiled. Because here it is. The parent is actually doing the job of a case manager, a trauma-informed therapist, a nervous system interpreter, an education advocate, and a medical historian. And we're doing this all while trying not to cry or get angry or sound too emotional, because God forbid that won't get us anywhere. And for many families, symptoms get worse after illness. That's not random. That's documented. It's not just because all the kids are getting sick and it's a virus that's going around. No, Our kids get more sick. And then when they get sick with those viruses, they get sicker. Their symptoms are worse. And then it triggers a cascade of other things, which need to be taken and accounted for. But they're not. They're overlooked. So the appointment ends and the doctor is supportive, but still not fully there. And you still feel like you're banging your head against a wall. So the parent walks out feeling two things at once: grateful to be heard by someone and just to get that smidgen of validation, but also freaking exhausted from having to explain everything about their child's existence again. If you've ever walked out of an appointment like this, just know you're not too much. You're not overreacting. You're doing invisible labor that was never meant to be yours alone. This system was not built for complex nervous systems. And unfortunately, parents have become the bridge. And that work deserves to be seen. If this feels familiar, I see you. And you don't have to do this alone.